Welcome, guys. It's your boy, World of Wrestling, back after a week hiatus from reviewing pro wrestling. Um, I am sorry, guys. I have been under a lot of stress lately, with some things going on in my personal life, and just been focusing on sports betting, pretty much overall. So I haven't taken the time. I didn't even watch pro wrestling for a whole week, honestly. So I missed out on some storylines that were taking place on Raw, SmackDown, and Dynamite for AEW. We're gonna get back into things. I know I've been saying that a lot, right? You guys are probably going, "What the fuck's going on with you, World of Wrestling?" Like 1 minute you're here, the next minute you're gone for like days and weeks at a time. We want our fucking wrestling content. We want to hear from you. We want you to start speaking up about what your viewpoint is about WWE and AEW shows. Last night's WWE Raw for November 18th, 2024 was a solid show. It did have its weak points. I could tell it was a tape show based on the announcers and everything. Joe Tessitore sounded like half the time he was talking about like as if he was talking as a recording or something in certain aspects of the show. So I don't know. Um Love Girl says, now that Seth Rollins is not going to be the fifth man, I think it's going to be CM Punk because CM Punk is going to come out to close the end or when the bloodline, not the 2.0, but the old bloodline. And because you'll also continue with the storyline with Seth Rollins and CM Punk, because Seth Rollins will see that CM Punk is teaming with Roman Reigns. Uh, that, mm, I mean, to progress the storyline between CM Punk and Seth Rollins for WrestleMania, yeah, I see that as a way of progressing that. But the problem with that is, Love Girl, is the fact that you know it doesn't make a lot of sense as to why he's coming into the whole fold of the War Games match. So that to me makes absolutely no sense, honestly. On the CM Punk side of things, Seth Rollins, on the other hand, seems to make a lot more sense to actually join in as the fifth man simply because of the fact that he is got beef with Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed is now part of the new bloodline. And you can work your way around the whole Seth Rollins Roman Reigns situation, and that's Seth Rollins doesn't give a shit about Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins doesn't give two flying shits about Roman Reigns whatsoever. He wants revenge. He wants revenge on Solo Sikoa and Bronson Reed, because Solo Sikoa in the main event between him and Bronson Reed was fucked up because of Solo Sikoa. So now Seth Rollins has more of a meaning to get involved in this War Games match, despite his dislike for Roman Reigns. Pretty much he could turn on Roman Reigns at the end of the match of War Games. He could look at Roman and say, "Look, I don't give a shit about you. I want revenge on these two assholes who fucked me in this match this past Monday, and I got my ass kicked." And pretty much say, "You stay out of my way, I stay out of yours, and this is a one-time only deal. And once we're done, we're done. There ain't no more talking, dealing with each other, or doing anything else. I want revenge. That's my motto. That's my focus. I don't care about it being a team player with you." So that's how I would book it. That's the best way to make sense of it. Of course, if you go ahead and have them going, "Oh, kumbaya shit," out of fucking nowhere, just because Seth Rollins got screwed by Solo Sikoa and Bronson Reed, I can understand everyone saying there's a huge logic gap here, because before fucking Seth Rollins wanted nothing to do with this match, especially what he said last night to the Usos and Sami Zayn. He doesn't want to work or do anything with Roman Reigns at all. He's done. He is never dealing with him ever again. And I get that. But he got fucked over by Solo Sikoa in that match. And he also got screwed over by Bronson Reed. And the two of them basically fucked him. So it is what it is. What the case may be at the end of the day, I don't know. So it's all up to WWE Creative and where they go with this. Love Girl says, then why did Seth Rollins say no? And he's going to keep saying no to face Roman Reigns because Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins don't get along. But I heard that CM Punk is going to be at Survivor Series, and so if you're not saying he's not going to show up there, he might interrupt Gunther during his match with Damian Priest. I don't know about that one. I really don't. He could make just a surprise appearance, speak his piece or whatever, and move forward from there. That could be a possibility too. That he's making his he's going into the Royal Rumble match and they get a small break in the show and CM Punk makes a surprise appearance, kind of does a little bit of a spiel about him coming back and so forth. He's been cleared and he's healthy to go and so forth, and he's entering himself into the Royal Rumble in January, or actually, February 1st, because that's the new date. Never has the Royal Rumble ever taken place in February, but this is the first time. But yeah, that was the main event. It was a good main event. I liked it. I thought it was good. We also had Sheamus competing against Bronson Reed for the Intercontinental Championship. They had a nice little back-to-back conversation before the match, like that as well. Match was good. Kaiser ended up going ahead and interfering in this matchup, and I'm thankful he did because I don't want to see Sheamus win the damn Intercontinental Championship this soon. This is a WrestleMania situation where he should beat Bronson Reed for the title at WrestleMania. That's just my opinion. Kaiser, I see him as just a third wheel, trying to get involved in an Intercontinental Championship match and just get some notoriety, especially after the conversation they had before this segment with Gunther and Kaiser. And speaking of that segment, Gunther actually tried to attack Damian Priest. That came off very awkward and weird. Gunther looks like he's like questioning his own ability. He's looked at Kaiser asking for reassurance. Is he still the ring general that he has been all this time? He looks pretty fucking weak. I don't know what it is, but like they made him lose and all of a sudden now he's turned into this I don't know what to do, lost confidence in myself type of guy. I mean, okay, so you suffered an L. Big deal. Doesn't mean you're going to lose the damn title over it. I mean, maybe he's lost his smile like Shawn Michaels. Who knows? I have no idea. But yeah. We also are getting War Games apparently at random for the women. This one, I will agree with anyone that says this makes no sense. This is a thrown together load of shit. The only thing that makes sense is Rhea Ripley being the fifth woman in this 5-on-5 War Games match with the women and her getting revenge on Liv Morgan and then eventually getting the championship from her at main event or sometime after that, like at the Royal Rumble or some shit. That's the only thing that really makes any sense as to War Games taking place. But do we really need that? No, not really. Let's see here. Yeah, and apparently Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae are together, teaming together, or some shit. Hold on. Yeah, Candice LeRae are teaming together with Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Why? I don't know, but I haven't been watching wrestling for like a whole week now, so I don't know what's going on. Anyway, first match on the card was a mixed tag team match with Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega versus the American Made with Chad Gable and Ivy Nile. Again, Chad Gable loses. He looks more and more like Kurt Angle, his attire. Wrestles like Kurt Angle in some ways, and yet he loses all the time. He's the fucking jobber of Kurt Angle. If Kurt Angle was a jobber at one point in his career. This is fucking sad. I'm getting tired of seeing Chad Gable lose all the time. I think the story they had for Chad Gable was going well. I think him wanting to go after the Intercontinental title and coming up short was good. They could have revamped him back up, got him stringing several wins, and then eventually moving him into the IC Championship after WrestleMania, where Sheamus would become the champion and be the guy that takes the title off of Sheamus. And they have not done a damn thing with him since. He created this good stable, American Made, which reminds me of Team Angle. And they haven't done nothing with this. They're accomplishing nothing with this gimmick. And I don't quite understand why. And then after the match was over, you got the Creed brothers yelling at each other, grabbing each other by the head, pushing and shoving one another, being pissed that they lost. And Chad Gable grabs and goes, yes, this is what we need. This is what we need to do. We need to get mad. We need to get ourselves back on track, blah, 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 blah. Buddy, you are the one always losing. You ought to get your shit straight. How about that? Like, come on, man. Fucking retarded. Idiotic shit. Anyway, Judgment Day Clubhouse. The tag team champion Finn Balor tells women's world champion Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez to calm down. Balor says they have a lot on their plates with Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and Chad Gable. Belair says he'll step up, or Balor says he'll step up for them. Balor then turns to Dominic Mysterio. A few weeks ago, Mysterio beat Damian Priest in the main event of Raw. Mysterio and Carlito will show the War Raiders what the Judgment Day is all about. And Balor says Mysterio will figure it out. JD McDonough then asked Balor to talk in private. And there you go. Spoken like a true loser. Matt87 Eagle says, what do you mean by that? Oh. Yeah, I don't understand what they're doing with Chad Gable. Chad Gable has got all the makings to be successful mid-card performer, and then built up well enough for a period of time. You move him up into the main event and actually become something. And the Creed brothers could be a dominant tag team, and they're not doing a damn thing with them. Can you imagine the Creed brothers versus the War Raiders? Shit, I'll even take fucking Finn Balor and JD McDonough teaming together against this group with the Creed brothers. I mean, that would be a great tag team match. A triple threat between those three teams I just named. I mean, that'd be awesome. But they're not doing a damn thing with this American-made group. It's a great stable. It's got a good name. It's got a good gimmick. It's got the ingredients of a success if it's built up like one. And it's not. It's not even cared about. It's like an afterthought. I think the storyline that they got coming up next with The Miz and Karrion Kross has more care and consideration, and it ain't even that important. I mean, when you include the Wyatt Six, though, I mean, it's a little different, but still, I mean, like, come on. So The Miz says it has been a tough few weeks since being abducted by the Wyatt Six. And last week on Raw, The Miz double crossed the Wyatt Six and helped the Final Testament. Karrion Kross says the Wyatts are a bunch of wounded people using others to feel better about themselves. Miz says this is what Marine 7 needed to get started. Maybe Martin Scorsese or Quentin Tarantino will direct. Oh, God. Cross says he's in control. TikTok. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Marine 7 had anything to do with what Karrion Kross and what the Wyatt Six are doing. Really? Like, what the fuck was that about? The Marine 7. Who fucking cares about the Marine 7? Matty 7 Eagle says War Raiders versus Creed Brothers versus Baylor and JD McDonough. Well, he said JD McCheeseburger. Sounds like a good match on paper. I that's what I just stated a few moments ago. That'd be a great tag team match. Triple threat. Fucking throw a ladder in there. Tables, ladders, and chairs. Fucking throw that in there if you want. To have a little fun with it and get crazy. But, I mean, like, come on. Tag team division's a fucking joke. And they got some good tag teams building up. And especially American Made. And they're just, like, just letting them dry out and turn into shit. Last week on Raw, Damian Priest said World Heavyweight Champion Gunther is losing his aura. Gunther looked unsure of himself. So apparently he attacks Damian Priest while he's sitting there minding his own business at some desk. Fucking crazy. Sheamus and Braun Breaker have their booking for Saturday night main event. I highly doubt that would even work because the Creed brothers are absolute shit right now. Creatively, that is. Braun Breaker and Sheamus for the IC Championship. Good match, but like I said, the match ended with a disqualification on account of outside interference by Kaiser. So that match kind of sucked. And is it me or is Braun Breaker's music changed again and does it absolutely fucking blow? I think Braun Breaker's music absolutely sucks. But I'm pretty sure others think the same thing, and I'm just kind of catching on late. So whatever. Anyway, backstage main event, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and Sami Zayn walk up to Seth freaking Rollins, and Jey says it's time to put their difference aside for this one time. Zayn says they did this before when Rollins put his differences aside for Cody Rhodes. Zayn asked him to do it again and said with them at War Games. Rollins says he stood side by side with them, but he'll never stand with that tyrant Roman Reigns. Funny he says that about Roman Reigns, yet he's the one who betrayed Jon Moxley and Roman Reigns in the Shield. So, I don't know. He didn't seem like the tyrant. He was kind of the quiet guy in the back, and he, was doing his thing and just building momentum and getting people to cheer for him until Vince McMahon shoved him down their throats, and then they just rejected him altogether because they were nauseated from the in not being a genuine push, and it's more being forced to us to accept. So the fans just ended up booing him anyway in the end. But yeah, I didn't really see Roman Reigns as a tyrant when they were together. Now, him being a tyrant with the bloodline that he created, yeah, I do see that. But he wasn't part of the bloodline. If anything, the only opportunity he ever had or did anything with Roman Reigns was when they were on opposite shows, with him being on Raw and Roman being on SmackDown, which is still the case technically altogether. So I don't understand. How does Seth Rollins, how does he have the audacity to say he's a tyrant when he never even worked side by side with him during the time he was an actual tyrant on his own? He didn't. So to call him a tyrant, I don't know about that, because they were on opposite ends with each other. And legitimately so, Roman Reigns has every right to feel the way he does about Seth Rollins, because he was the one who betrayed him, not the other way around. So, yeah, just clarifying a little logic there. That there is a bit of a logic gap there on that end. Once a tyrant, always a tyrant. Matty Seven Eagle says. Um, I don't know about that, Matt. I kind of see that Roman Reigns is not really got a whole lot of, swing in his step anymore. He's not the big swinging dick that he used to be. It's more along the lines of like being like everyone else, just an average Joe. By the way, like I said, I haven't been watching SmackDown for the last week or so. What is Cody Rhodes doing for Survivor Series? Because I haven't heard anything about him being part of the War Games match. I also haven't heard that he even has a WWE title defense. So I don't know. Matty Seven Eagle says, doesn't matter. Seth is a red herring for CM Punk. And Matty Seven Eagle also says Cody Rhodes is doing nothing. Wow. Not bad for being world champion. Apparently he's getting a touch of the Roman Reigns type of mentality where, done enough as champion. I'm going to go take a chill pill and go take a, kick back on a beach and drink some Coronas. Anyway. So pretty much he says that he's not going to join forces with Roman Reigns. He's defending the title against KO at Saturday night's main event. Okay, I don't know why they can't just do it at Survivor Series, but whatever. But yeah, he says he's not gonna join them in the War Games match, but he's gonna help them out by beating the shit out of Bronson Reed, which he ends up not doing anyway. The first WWE Raw on Netflix is coming on Monday, January 6th, from the Intuit Dome in Los Angeles, California. That should be fun and entertaining to watch. I hope the stream on Netflix isn't trash because Matty Seven Eagle asked me if I was going to watch the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight, and I wasn't interested in it, but my wife talked me into watching because for some strange reason, I don't know why, she never sits down and watches boxing with me, but apparently she has a liking towards Mike Tyson, I guess, and wanted to see him knock that dumb schmuck out. Which case that did not happen. It looked more like a fucking fix than anything else, like it was rehearsed. And a lot of people shit all over the fucking fight anyway to begin with. But while we were watching the event, the next Netflix stream came in very badly. A lot of issues with it buffering and very hard to enjoy the show overall, the entire event. I didn't really watch the entire event. I bet on some of the fighters in that card. And the fighters I picked won or got a draw. So it is what it is. But yeah, this fight between Tyson and Jake Paul was a complete waste of everyone's time. The only thing that was entertaining or worth anyone's time is watching the undercard fights. Those were legitimate boxing matches. The rest of the fucking card, the main event was shit. Straight up. Absolute garbage. Don't even know why it was taking place. And quite frankly, quite a few people have said that are big time boxing fans say that Jake Paul is basically WWE of boxing. He's a guy that'll book fights, have scripted fights, and that's pretty much what they are. A joke. And that's because Jake Paul is a fucking joke. At least Logan Paul is respectable enough to go, okay, if I'm going to go ahead and be in scripted shows, at least I'm going to go join a scripted program. So that's pretty much what it was, or what he did. Matty Seven Eagle says all it was is a big pile of hyped up shit. That is an obvious. And I was not really a huge fan of the fight. I thought Mike Tyson being in the ring with this dude was a joke. Some people actually think that legitimately, if the fight wasn't fixed, Mike Tyson could have knocked his ass out, which I don't blame anyone feeling that way because, quite frankly, Jake Paul is a terrible fucking boxer. I've seen better boxers. He has no ability in the ring, and he has no business being in a boxing ring. He is a fucking hype man for boxing. He's a freak show. He is what Vince McMahon would love for boxing. Pretty much. Anyway. Tag team match with the Judgment Day with Dominic Mysterio and Carlito versus the War Raiders. War Raiders end up winning this match, obviously. I don't think they were going to take an L going into their championship opportunity for the tag team titles. So, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The Wyatt Six cut into the broadcast. Bo Dallas says they offered The Miz salvation, and Dallas tried to warn him, but he damned himself, Dallas says. I'm sorry for what happens next. Miz chose this. His hands will be stained scarlet red. He will lose. What matters most is Dallas never wanted this. What did he truly want? Because from the week before, he was interested in exposing him for being a false leader or teacher to other people who he claims is trying to teach others about leadership and mentoring people and all that. And he never really cared about their success or improving or getting better. I like that concept. But then this led into the Final Testament being a part of all of this, which is kind of odd. But it also made sense because of Miz turn on the Wyatt Six, joining the Final Testament, saying that he wasn't part of it, but really he was. So it was all part of an elaborate plan. So Alpha Academy is walking backstage when they bump into Kofi Kingston. Maxine Dupree says they're excited for New Day's 10-year anniversary. This is the time when we're going to see Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston finally be done with one another. Xavier Woods comes up and says they've never had a fight, but now they're fighting all the time. Woods keeps thinking about what Karrion Kross said regarding the New Day being dead, and Kingston tries to say Kross doesn't know what he's talking about. Otis tries to step in, but Woods criticizes him. Woods says they'll face Alpha Academy. Beating these two clowns will put them where they need to be, and Kingston doesn't look happy about it either. He also said that no wonder why Chad Gable left their asses behind, because they're two fucking losers. Interesting. Bronson Reed, Seth Rollins was the last segment on the show. We had interferences by the New Bloodline involved in this match, causing Seth Rollins to lose. Hence why I still think that Seth Rollins will be the fifth man in the War Games match, so he can get revenge, despite the fact he may end up teaming with Roman Reigns. I think there is a loophole around all this to make sense of it. But like I said, if they don't take advantage of it and they just go ahead and say, oh, we're just going to be kumbaya friends all of a sudden out of nowhere now that we have a common enemy, that to me sounds like a lot of horse shit and very lazy booking and paying attention to detail, honestly, in that case. But that was pretty much the show in a nutshell. I greatly appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, by all means, hit the like button. If you enjoyed the stream, hit the subscribe button. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. Thank you guys very much for watching, and have a great night, guys. Bye.